Take me out to left field. Give me a shot of Fireball. Give me some high fives from Marc Pena and a hug from Jeff Cross as we stand on top of the tables. Hearing the horns, that's a blast. For it's 1, 2, 3 shots from the cannon with the ladies of left field.
Hey, y'all. It is game time with the ladies of left field. Jordan here with Katie and Kasey.
Hey, y'all.
And we have a special guest who should not surprise anyone that we brought him on to preview baseball season. It's Marc Pena, a.k.a. Occupy Left Field.
How's it going, everybody? Good to be back.
Well,
the fact that Marc is on the podcast really makes me feel like it is actually baseball season. Like, it is time, y'all. Let's do it. But we'll start off with Hot Girl headlines, as we always do, and I'll kick it over to Katie to start.
all right, y'all. So, yeah, I previewed the Super Bowl, so we might as well go over the Super Bowl, even though it might have been one of the boringest ones to watch, especially in the first half. So, by Jordan, be traveling and not being able to find a place to watch it, she didn't miss much. But, no. I mean, the Seahawks defeated the Patriots 29-13. This was their second Super Bowl championship in their franchise history. I mean, hell, y'all, it's like Vegas knew, everybody knew. We all should have just bet all of our money on the Seahawks and we would have been rich. But like I said, the first half was pretty boring. It was a big defensive battle. Seattle's defense was dominant, controlling it pretty much the whole time. New England tried to make it kind of competitive in the second half, but still Seattle's defense just came through and kind of shut it down every time. They kind of just started to have momentum. So there you go. I mean, I feel like the talk of the town was halftime, so we'll get to that also. The MVP for the game was the running back for the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker III. He really played super well. He had 135 rushing yards. The tale of the two quarterbacks we came into, Sam Darnold really played well, and your little boy Drake May, not so much. Seattle's defense really got to him quite a bit. So there you go. I mean, a little Super Bowl recap. And everybody can share their thoughts on Bad Bunny. What'd y'all think?
I loved it. I had a friend I was texting because, okay, first of all, I did not remember Michael Dixon, Texas X, lifetime Longhorn Michael Dixon having that many tattoos. So I texted everybody and I was like, did I forget something like whole sleeve? Yeah,
I don't
think so.
He was here.
I noticed that too, Jordan. That's funny.
I noticed that too, and I was like, okay.
But my favorite was someone said, yeah, the only two people that showed up in this game were Bad Bunny and Byron Murphy II. And I was like, another Texas X. I was texting everyone being very obnoxious. But it was cool to see some Longhorns ball out there. Like seeing Byron Murphy, and I was like, wait, I know that guy. So that was fun. Also loved the halftime show. It was so much fun. And I don't know most of Bad Bunny's lyrics. Like I could pick a few out just taking 6 years of Spanish between high school and college, but it was awesome. I loved it.
I didn't watch it.
Case didn't watch it. But yeah, I thought, it is what it is. I like those halftime show too. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool and well done. So
I didn't watch anything. The only thing I did watch was the game. I did not watch anything leading up to it. Literally we turned the channel right when it started and watched any kind of because there was just other stuff on. We had all three of our TVs on, but I was like, we were watching golf. I think we were watching basketball games. Just different stuff I was like, I don't need to see 40 stories about the same.
Yeah. Well, also again, like you kind of mentioned, I couldn't find, I was in Columbia, Missouri for work, couldn't find a restaurant that was open with a TV. And then when I went to our hotel restaurant, the TV didn't work. So I was watching on my phone, but I didn't feel like I missed out on much otherwise. I don't even think there are any great commercials unless one really spoke to y'all. I don't think there were nothing took over social media. It's kind of weird. This is the first year it's been there wasn't one commercial that jumped out at everyone, I feel. So that was a little weird. Mark, do you have a favorite?
The only commercial I even remember was that Dunkin' Donuts commercial that had a lot of the old sitcom people. That one was pretty funny. And I was super disappointed. Like y'all mentioned, the game was pretty boring and the commercials were awful. I did not like any of them, but the Dunkin' one made me laugh. And that's probably the only one I actually remember. So yeah, that one was good.
That's
I knew
so
about.
weird.
I had already heard about the one with Lady Gaga singing the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood one, so I knew right when that one started. I knew what that was about, and then I knew about the Budweiser and the eaglet thing. You know, I did think that was funny at the end when the man goes, "Are you crying?" "No, I have something in my eye," or like allergies or something. You know. And then there was one other one I thought, not so much that I thought something about and I just saw something on the news about the Ring camera, like missing, if your pets get lost, and it shows how that one girl brings her dog back to the other neighbor girl or whatever. So
I was about to bring that up, Kasey. There's been a lot of controversy about that.
I know. That's what I was.
Because people think that it's like they're like surveilling people now, and they're like,
Yeah.
why would they advertise something like that? There's like a lot of people that are like disconnecting their cameras now and like taking them down. So I thought that was kind of wild.
Yeah, I saw that on the news just now.
I didn't see the commercial live. That's one of the many ones that I missed while I was trying to get the restaurant TV on. But I'm like the queen of Ring cameras just because I like to watch the dogs all the time. So I was like, well, oops. I can't. I have too many Ring cameras to watch the dogs. So I'm stuck now.
Well, Ring basically admitted that they can use your camera for whatever they want and help you find your neighbor's dogs without asking you for assistance. So that likely means they're looking at your cameras for other stuff as well. So be careful.
They're watching me in my living room. It's gonna be a recreation of whatever, like our one of those for me watching the Stars game that one time.
Yeah.
Apologies to the Ring people. Now you're not gonna see anything fun.
Yeah, I felt like though, like even leading up to it, like what we were saying on Sunday, it didn't even seem like it was a Super Bowl Sunday. It was like, oh well, whatever, blah blah blah. It just didn't have much, firepower in it. Either there was nobody. I guess maybe you do have to have somebody that you really dislike if you don't have a team that you like, just so that you have like some interest.
Yeah.
Well, because otherwise, like in the game, it's just like. I remember thinking at halftime, the kicker is going to get the MVP. Like,
Yeah.
What?
That's sad. Oh, funny. Well, the other big thing happening all over our TVs right now is the Winter Olympics. I'm not sure if you were thrilled by the Winter Olympics, but it's on all the time. Kasey, you got any news?
Well, I'll just give people the headlines that they probably have heard, even if they haven't watched it. Lindsey Vonn broke her leg. She'd already torn her ACL the week before and was still going to try to compete, which that ended up in and of itself was going to be somewhat of a miraculous type thing. I don't know how one does that, but I guess it's no different than what our Mia Scott last year. Didn't she have a torn ACL or something, and she still played softball, which I didn't understand.
Yep.
But when she went down, like right when she started, she had a
Pumped her arm on that flag.
Yeah. And so she was saying that it had nothing to do with the ACL. This was a completely different injury, but she's done. And so her skiing time is over, I believe, or at least in the Olympics. In the medal count, Norway is leading with a total of 12, and they have 6 gold, which is the most gold. Germany, Sweden, and Switzerland have 3 gold. And they have a total of 6, 6, and 5. And then the United States has 2 gold, 7 medals. One of the golds is the I do actually know this one little part is the U.S. figure skating team.
Mm-hmm.
So they won. And then I think now all the individuals start their stuff. And that is probably. And then the women's hockey is supposed to be doing really good. They won again today, so they're advancing. And I think men's hockey will start on Thursday, possibly, or maybe tomorrow. Again, like we said, it's hard for me when things are on at random times, not normal times of watching, and then you watch the news and you already hear who won, and so sometimes it's like, well, I don't care about watching this. It's not that exciting to me to watch something that.
Mark said that on the news the other morning. They were like just telling all the Olympic stuff. And Mark was like, "Hello." He was like, give me a heads up. Like, you're totally ruining this for me.
Like, if you want to watch it, yeah. So I don't know. It's just, Winter Olympics is just not really my jam. So
there's a couple of things that he was like, spoiler alert, like say, hey, if you want to watch the Olympics later, like turn this off for a minute.
Right.
Give me a heads
like,
up.
I'd like to know more about hockey because, that's more like, But I feel like that's more my style of wanting to watch something. But I don't. It's even when I try to look it up and find out when it is. It's like, okay, when do we play? I don't know. So
I did see. I think this was live. I saw Team USA beat Canada.
Yeah, that was
the women's hockey team win 5-0 today.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. All right, Jordan, take us back to the college world. You're going to give us some, I like this random college headline, and then we'll go to college baseball, which we're also excited about.
Yes, y'all know me. Lacrosse season is here. So I have women's lacrosse update. I don't, the men or whatever. But the women started this weekend, and we started with a really cool rematch of the national semifinal. But on Monday night, unranked Colorado beat number 2 Northwestern. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of shakeup in women's college lacrosse, which is fun because we came into the season expecting the top 4 to be, the top 3 to be the top 3, which was North Carolina, Northwestern, and Boston College. But that could change. So it might actually be an interesting season. So that's all I really had for college, because I was trying to think of kind of any other headline. Because again, we talked about we're finally kind of getting into where it's getting exciting, but there still wasn't that much outside of Super Bowl and the Olympics. So that gets us into the college realm, which brings us back to our guest, Marc, who is going to give us a full rundown of Texas baseball, which I'm so excited because, again, I've been very bad. They made me actually produce basketball this season, so I've not been able to dial into college baseball. So I'm ready for this preview because I don't even know most of the guys on the team right now.
Super excited. Yeah, it's crazy that baseball's already here, but yeah, obviously season starts on Friday. Gonna have a couple weekends here in Austin for action at Dish Falk. So we're fired up, ready to go. Nerded out over the weekend. We kind of snuck into a close scrimmage on Sunday afternoon after brunch at Matt's. So yeah, we got a sneak peek at some of the action and fired up for the weekend. Yeah, so where should we start in terms of preview type conversations?
I think take us around the bases, babe. Tell us who we can expect to see at every position. Start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of, new faces are going to be involved with the Horns this year. Lost a lot of guys in the offseason, a lot of key players, guys like Rylan Galvan, Jalen Flores, no longer with the program. They've all moved on to professional ball. But a lot of talent on the team this year. The 26 team is supposed to be really strong on the pitching side. And our pitching staff could arguably be one of the best, if not the best in the country. So that's going to be really exciting. Max Wiener's got a lot of really talented guys that you're going to see on the mound. But from a position perspective, seems like they've got everything dialed up and there's really kind of starters penciled in to get the year going at every position. In the outfield, you're going to see 3 or 4 guys that are going to play regularly in the outfield for the team. Starting in center field, we have Aiden Robbins. He's a very talented transfer that we got from Seton Hall. He hit over 400 last year, had a hell of a summer in summer league ball, and has really been impressing everybody so far in the lead up to the season. So get to know that name, Aiden Robbins. He's going to be really, really good for the team. In right field, we're hearing that Jonah Williams, who I know is a big crowd favorite and a favorite of y'all's, is going to be starting out there. So he's kind of transitioning, from football back to baseball. My understanding is he had a little bit of a hamstring tweak as the football season was winding down. So they're bringing him along slowly, but I am hearing that he is going to be available and likely to play this weekend as we play Cal Davis. So look for Jonah in right field. And then in left field, it's going to be one of 2 players. We have Ashton Larson, who is a transfer from LSU. Very talented player, actually hit a home run on Sunday in that scrimmage that I mentioned that we snuck into. So he's going to be a really good addition for Texas. He played a lot at LSU 2 years ago and then dealt with a lot of injuries last year and didn't play very much for the 2025 LSU team that won the national championship. But I think he's going to be the starter as we get the season going in left. And then the backup, who I think everybody should kind of keep their eye on, is a true freshman named Anthony Pack Jr. Really talented kid, very, very highly sought after recruit coming out of high school. And he'll round out the starting options that we have in the outfield. From an infield perspective, we've got a lot of new blood as well, but some names that you will recognize. First of all, some of the returners. We have Adrian Rodriguez is going to be playing at shortstop and filling in that position for Jalen Flores. Obviously, last year he was injured a lot of the year, did some DH, played some third base, played in the outfield as well. But he's the favorite to kind of lock down the shortstop position. And then we have Ethan Mendoza, who's going to be the starter at second base. So returning starter there, really, really talented guy. Rumors that he's put on like over 20 pounds of muscle in the offseason, and he kind of looks like a brand new guy on the field. So excited to see how that kind of translates from a playing perspective and a power perspective at the plate. And in addition to that, Kasey Borba, he's going to be starting more than likely at first base, which is going to be new for him. He was our starting third baseman for the majority of the season last year. But as we lost Kimball Schuessler, they're looking for somebody to slide in and replace Kimball at first base. And as of right now, Kasey is kind of the leader to do that. From a third base perspective, we have another transfer, kid from Stanford named Temo Becerra. He is a very experienced player that hit over 300 for Stanford last year. Not a lot of power on his bat, but he's a really good fielding infielder and is just like a contact guy that you can rely on at the plate. And then arguably the most exciting addition to the team is going to be our catcher, Carson Tenney, who we get from Notre Dame. He was like a leading candidate for catcher of the year across the country last season. So we're kind of losing Galvan, but plugging in one of the best returning catchers in the country and putting him behind the plate. So that kind of gives you a rundown of the position players and what you're looking to expect as we get into action over the weekend.
Mark, do y'all have any clue also about the batting lineup, where guys are expected to bat yet?
No, I don't know enough to really project the lineup at this point in terms of batting order. There's not a ton of your typical power hitters on the team. So you're probably going to see guys move around quite a bit. I'm expecting guys like Borba and Carson Tenney will be somewhere in the middle of the lineup. You'll likely see Mendoza and Aiden Robbins towards the top of the lineup. But I do think there's going to be a lot of flexibility. And Schlossnagle typically likes to mix that up as the season gets started. So you'll see guys move around from 1 through 9 over the course of the first couple weeks of the season.
Do you know, who are they thinking of DH, or is there a whole slew of them that have hit well? Or
yeah, so another big addition that we got was another transfer from Wichita State. His name's Josh Livingston. He's kind of a power hitter. I think he hit like roughly around 15 home runs for Wichita State last season. And Kasey, they're really looking at him at 3 different positions. I think he's likely your candidate to start the season at DH, but he also does play first base and third base a lot. So you'll see him kind of rotate in and out, sub in for Borba, sub in for Becerra at third base, and really gives us, kind of another option from an infield perspective. Wouldn't be surprised at the end of the day to see him compete for a starting fielding position, right? Either third or first. The scrimmage that we saw on Sunday, we did see him at first base and also rotate over to third base as well. So keep that name in your mind. Livingston will definitely be a guy that moves around and plays a lot of positions to start the year.
What was it that brought, because I see Becerra graduated from Stanford. This is he's got 1 year of eligibility left. And same with you were saying with Tenney. What was it that made them choose Texas?
That's a tough call. Yeah, I think from Tenney's perspective, right, you would expect that with him being a finalist for a lot of awards last year coming out of Notre Dame, that NIL was a big component in his recruitment. So I'm expecting that for him, money was a factor, and I'm guessing that Texas really targeted him and took care of him from that perspective. But I've also heard him say, right in some in some press conferences that obviously he was looking to make that jump to a power program. We all know that Texas is a traditional blue blood. Had a guy like Rylan Galvan and a lot of catchers in the last couple of years that have been very successful. And at the end of the day, right, Schlossnagel's got this program trending in the right direction. It is a very attractive program for any player that's looking to make a move. But for Tenney, if we're being honest, I'm guessing NIL had something to do with it. Becerra, a little more, unknown in terms of his recruitment. He was a very solid player, but Texas did have a lot of depth that they were looking to build in the infield. Probably just another targeted approach there from the Texas coaching staff and trying to find a piece that they felt would translate well over to our team.
All right. Now, pitching staff. You mentioned Max and his, full arsenal of pitching. And we've heard, they're all like showing out and they all are super excited to pitch. So who do we think is going to start Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday? Who's going to come out of the bullpen? Who's going to be our closer? And who's like getting in there on Tuesdays to get some work? Tell us about our pitching staff.
Yeah. Pitching is definitely going to be interesting. I think the biggest thing to note about this year's pitching staff is it's probably the deepest pitching staff that I can remember in recent years. So there is going to be a ton of competition for innings. So I don't really think you're going to see guys to start the year in specific roles that are in the same spot every weekend, as an example. I think you're going to see a lot of movement, especially from the relievers. From the starting pitching perspective, there's a lot of familiar names that you've heard in terms of options for being the Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys. Dylan Volantis has been talked about the most as potentially being the Friday night ace for this year's staff. But I would not be surprised to see him kind of move around from a weekend rotation as well. So I think he's probably the leader for Friday. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved him to Saturday or Sunday for the first couple of weekends. Obviously, he was our closer last year. It's going to be a transition for him moving back to a starting pitching role. So we'll see where he lands, but he'll definitely be in the rotation this weekend as a starter. The other names that you'll see are Luke Harrison. Really experienced pitcher that a lot of us love. Diehard Longhorn. He's a real bulldog on the mound. I'm really expecting him to be locked in as a starter as well. You'll likely see him on Saturday or Sunday, not really a candidate for that Friday night position. And we'll see where he slides in. As of late, I've been hearing a lot of rumors about Ruger Riojas as well. He's a guy that has a ton of flexibility. You saw him last year start in the bullpen, then he slid to the starting rotation when we had those injuries midway through the season and we lost Spencer. So Riojas is another name to look out for there and someone that you could see in the starting rotation. I think the fourth name that you want to call out and look out for from a starting pitching rotation would be Jason Flores, second-year player who did get some valuable experience last season. Again, another guy who has flexibility to pitch from the bullpen. He can be a starter. And I think that kind of rounds out your top four options. And I think if we're being honest, right, Wiener and Schlossnagel are going to toy around with the pitching staff quite a bit as we get going. But those are going to be the four primary names that you're going to see as we get started. Now, from a bullpen perspective, so many guys to talk about. I think if you had to focus on returners and guys that were on the squad last year, there's two or three guys that you want to accent, right? It's going to be Thomas Burns, who is just an absolute beast right now. His velocity is way up on the mound right now. We saw him pitch on Sunday. He was hitting 97, 98, just looked super dominant. I think as of right now, he'd probably be the leader to be the closing pitcher for this year's team. And then you also have a guy like Max Grubbs, who I'm expecting to be a really notable long relief candidate, right? A guy that you'll probably see pitch once or twice a weekend, come in and throw 2 or 3 innings at a time, and really be that key bullpen arm. Now, a couple of new names to watch out for, guys that you probably saw at the alumni game if you watched any of that or if you were in attendance. There's two guys that are just absolute monsters. The freshman that pitched early in the alumni game, Sam Cozart, that kid looks like he is 40 years old. He's like 6'7" or something like that, full beard, just looks like a grown ass man. He literally looks like the oldest guy on our team, and he's probably
okay. I just pulled up his roster photo. What? That is not. That's not a freshman. No, he's not.
Yeah. He said at
the beard.
At the women's thing that somebody asked him, I think the MC asked him how old he was, and he was like 19.
Yeah.
He has
also he was the one, I think the Bachelor guy asked them all, like, who was the one that you would want to like have your back in a fight? And they were like, him.
Yeah, because he was back in the back, he wasn't up front. And it was like, but he got, kind of singled out because everybody turns and looks at him.
Yeah.
Wait, he's from North Carolina too. Hey.
I'll say a quick little Thomas Burns case was the one who also was like shaking his booty up there on the runway. He was the first one to kind of start them like being silly out there, which is funny.
Yeah, I remember we saw Cozart at that toy drive at Bolden Acres, and when I saw him, I thought he was like a football player that had just like come to support, because he looked like he could be like an offensive lineman or a tight end or something like that, but he's a pitcher. So he is a huge kid. And then the second guy that I am really excited about is Brett Crossland. He pitched in the alumni game. In his first inning, I think the second and third batter that he faced, he struck out Skylar Messenger, struck out Dylan Campbell. I mean, just like super, super impressive. He's also got a little bit of a psycho aspect to him. I went back and watched him pitch on the Longhorn Network app the next morning, and he's constantly talking to himself on the mound. Like right before he's pitching, you can just see him talking into his glove. When he strikes somebody out, he's like yelling at himself and trying to hype himself up. So that guy I'm super excited about. He's another name to look out for. And, I can go on and on from a freshman perspective, but I think those are the two that stick out the most. And then from a transfer perspective, we do have a couple of exciting arms that transferred in as well. Hayden LeFew is a pitcher that came to us from Wake Forest. For those of you that may have gone to the Dell Diamond to watch us play Texas Tech in the fall, he started that scrimmage. He's another really big kid. If y'all are familiar with college baseball, Wake Forest has been a really impressive program the last couple of years. They're really known for solid pitching. And he was a top performer on their team that has come over to the Horns. And then the last guy that I wanted to call out is Cal Higgins, another older guy, another big dude, power arm out of the bullpen. I believe he came from Western Kentucky. Saw him pitch on Sunday as well. Just uber talented. This team has so much depth. I don't even know what they're going to do in terms of getting all those guys innings and keeping them happy. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have. If you've got 15 badass pitchers, you should be there competing to win every game that you play in.
Well, and bringing that up, I was going to say how, like, I'm trying to remember last year is like early in the season is like Sauce and Wiener's like philosophy, like the, starting pitcher only goes like 4 or 5 innings kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I definitely expect to see that, Kasey, the first couple weekends. I would not expect to see any of our starters go longer than 4 or 5 innings during their appearances. And I just also think it's based purely on the fact that like he wants to see what he has with all of these other pitchers, right? And as you get the season going, you only get 3 or 4 games a week. So limited innings to see 15 guys throw. So yeah, I would expect to see the starters go 4, maybe 5. For the first 2 weekends here in Austin. I think when you get to Houston, right, that's kind of the first big weekend of the season. You're playing bigger programs like Coastal Carolina, Baylor, and you would expect to see us start to extend the starting pitching just a little bit. But at the end of the day, right, it's been a while since Texas has had guys that consistently go 7 or 8 innings. It seems like 5 or 6 is really that sweet spot. And then you look to set up with guys like Grubbs, Burns, Higgins, all the guys that I named. that are just so quality out of the bullpen. And, they're going to be looking to establish their normal role in relief.
Yeah.
Speaking of Houston, what would you say is like the most exciting home series and most exciting road series? If Texas fans are having to pick one of each, where should they go?
That's a great question. And starting with Houston, right? That's a tournament that over the last several years, you've seen more of like an impressive overall grouping of teams than you're going to get this year. But I am super excited to see that Friday night game specifically. Coastal Carolina, as all of you know, played in the National Championship Series against LSU, and their Friday night pitcher is supposed to be one of the top college pitchers in the game this season. So I think if you see him on the mound against Volantis or Riojas on a Friday night, that's going to be electric. I think another thing about that weekend in Houston is without the other power teams like LSU, you're probably going to see Texas fans kind of dominate that tournament and really make it a home field advantage for Texas during the 3 games that they play there. But then when you look at home and away series, if we're being honest, out of conference, like a lot of SEC teams do, not a lot of power teams that you're going to be playing weeks 1, 2, and 4, right? We have a pretty soft start to the season. I think a lot of the SEC coaches understand how much of a gauntlet the SEC regular season is. So they want to have those opportunities to just see their teams play and understand what they have from a team perspective early in the year. But once we get into conference season, you're going to see a much different dynamic from Texas. Last year, it seemed like the majority of the ranked teams that we played were at home. And this year, you see the opposite, Jordan. So we have 4 teams in the SEC that are ranked in the top 25 that we're going to be traveling to. Personally, the one that I am most excited for is Tennessee. We're playing them later in the year. I've never experienced Tennessee on the road in Knoxville, so I'm fired up about that. They've always got a talented team that bring a lot to the table. So that is probably the road series that I'm circling the most. Most other people would probably say Texas A&M because of the rivalry and Schlossnagel aspect, but I am not excited about that weekend. I think everybody knows how I feel about college baseball. It's not a fun place to watch baseball as a Texas Longhorn fan, but that's another one to obviously call out, right? And then to round out those ranked road series, we also play at Vanderbilt and at Auburn early in the season. Auburn is a preseason top 10 team who's supposed to be very, very solid. So I think those are the 4 toughest ones, and I would circle Tennessee as probably the most exciting.
I gotta
and then
love
from
our
a home,
who see our faces. Literally use the A&M, and Kasey and I made like the both like the gross, like the grossest face. We're like, nah, I'm not going there.
No thanks. Well, I also forget with Tennessee that Vitello's gone.
Right.
yes,
Like I forget about that. So that's a whole other interesting aspect to going on the road to Knoxville.
yeah. But they were able to retain a lot of their talent, right? Vitello's not a guy that left for another college program. He went to the San Francisco Giants organization. So you didn't see a lot of their players transfer out. So they still have a ton of talent. They promoted Vitello's top assistant to the head coaching role. So they kept a lot of their momentum there. So I'm expecting that program to continue to cook and just be a really, really solid SEC program.
Vitello did take Frank Anderson though, so they did lose their pitching.
He did take Frank, but I believe it's Josh Olander who's their coach now. Heard a lot of great things about him, and the kids seem to be excited to kind of follow his path there in Knoxville. But from a home weekend perspective, Jordan, for a multitude of reasons, the series that I'm excited about is Mississippi State. They're another, traditional power that is on the upswing. They fired their coach at the end of last season. They ended up getting Brian O'Connor, who is the Virginia coach, who is an absolute badass. He completely revamped that team with a ton of transfer portal additions on the Mississippi State side. So they went from being unranked at the end of the season last year to being anywhere from like number 2 to number 5 in the preseason polls. They are expected to be one of the top 3 SEC teams this season. And another component to that, right, is just the Mississippi State fan base. They are awesome. We know a lot of those guys. Partied with them in Starkville last year out there in the left field lounge, and they're all planning a return trip to Austin when they come visit later this spring. So that's definitely
have they been here?
What's that?
Have they been to our stadium?
No, they have not. And I've already told them it ain't shit compared to what y'all have there in Starkville.
They don't have private suites and barbecue grills and everything.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Austin has a lot to provide that Starkville doesn't have in general. So I think they're also looking to take in the bars, the restaurants, the barbecue scene, all of that kind of stuff. So that should really be a lot of fun. And Jordan, I think the second one to call out that I know you'll be excited to hear is Ole Miss. We start play, this year against Ole Miss in Austin. So that'll be really fun as a way to get the SEC schedule kicked off.
That one's going to be it's going to be so much fun, but y'all, that's going to be a mess. Cause obviously I know Ole Miss fans I thought about trying to come back for that, but my liver probably could not handle Houston and then only 1 week off and then Ole Miss.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if the Rebels bring a bunch of fans with them or if they don't, but you got to expect a lot of these SEC programs, like the first time you get Texas on the schedule, I know Austin's a very popular place to want to visit. So you would expect Ole Miss would bring a lot of people. And then I'm guessing there's also a lot of Ole Miss alumni in the Texas area that'll probably be making their way down.
That's what I was going to say is I know there's a lot of alumni, at least in the Dallas area, because my brother and his fiance and them, like, they have Ole Miss watch parties for everything. So I would assume that's an easy trip for a lot of the Dallas DFW people.
I also believe that the softball is playing Ole Miss. I mean, like, we're both softball and baseball are playing Ole Miss the exact same weekend. So you've got like a double up if you have fans that watch both things, like, that would want to travel, and that way they can catch 2 things if that's their jam.
That's really unique, but that'll be a cool environment to have them both playing at the same time. Yeah. Y'all know, is the Ole Miss softball team any good? I don't really.
I don't know if they are, but all 3 of those softball games are sold out already.
They had been. I can't remember now. I remember watching a little bit last year. I can't remember. They have been in the past, but
it feels like almost every SEC softball team has hosted a regional like in the last 5 to 7 years. They're all good at some point. So I just didn't know if they were currently like a ranked team or anything like that.
I don't think right now, but again, it's Ole Miss, and especially if it's happening at the same weekend. Like,
yeah, and it is. Yeah, we're both playing Ole Miss, and so they've got them all, lined up. Pretty much, I think, softball will play early and then our game.
So I want to put y'all on the spot. This is y'all show, and you 3 are obviously diehard Texas baseball fans. Who are y'all most excited about seeing on the team? Not all of you can say Jonah, so pick somebody different if all of y'all are going in that direction. But who are y'all most excited to see from the returning perspective, and are there any of the new players that you're especially excited to get a look at?
I'll go first. Returning, I'm hoping that, I'm excited for A-Rod. I think, like, to see him, kind of being there, the catalyst of the infield. And then I'm excited to see this Aiden Robbins guy in center field if he hits the way he did last year.
Mine is returners. This is my number one will always be Max Grubbs because Martin Warriors. So got that Arlington tie. But I'm excited to see Ruger. And then new guys, I think it's literally just being in the group chat. I'm excited to see Brett Crossland. I feel like y'all just talk about him a lot. So, and again, like, I preface this with, like, I have not been dialed in because they're making me watch college basketball, which is ridiculous. But yeah, so Max Grubbs, Ruger, that's gonna be fun. And then this Brett Crossland guy.
Jordan, I'll wait till you see Ruger's hair. I mean, he is completely grown his hair out. holy crap. I mean, it like comes out to here. It's just like,
Was it like you in the pandemic hair?
What's that?
Was that like you in the pandemic?
Oh my God. He makes my Laredo waterfall look embarrassing compared to what he has right now. I'm 5 times what I had during the peak of COVID. So he's rocking it. And then he's just got that mustache and it looks like it's 3 times as thick as it was last season. So
okay.
He looks like a character.
I thought I was being nuts. I think Katie might have showed last time when we were recording. She showed me a picture and I was like, how did the mustache get more mustachy than it was last year? How?
He's got to be taking supplements or something to get that thicker. But
he's conditioning it.
Yeah, prenatal vitamins.
Well, I'm excited about the pitchers in general. I think I'm excited to see, like Ruger, maybe really come into a starting role. Volantis move into a starter role. Thomas Burns be a closer. Just a lot. Max Grubbs, of course, I love. And so I'm just excited. I think that's where I'm most excited to see. And then, I love the Borba family. And so I want Kasey to do really well. And I hope, if he plays first base. So I'm excited to see Tenny catch. Losing Ryland was a big deal, but I think we had Tenny coming in from Notre Dame. So I think we were excited about that. So I hope he, really comes into that catcher role and is a leader on the team. I don't know. I think it's fun to see all these new guys and see how they come together. I think it's cool to listen to these guys talk about how I think they really do get along and they have fun together and they, seem to have really gelled and really enjoy each other. Based on the ladies' night, they were all having a ball and then also, hearing from you at that scrimmage that they have a choreographed whole thing as well. They're going to pull out for us. So
I was telling Katie as we took a walk yesterday, I don't want to steal this surprise for people or for the team, but I don't know if this is something that they just did over the weekend or if they're going to do it every time he comes in. But they brought in Burns in like a close type situation in that scrimmage. And he has the most badass warm-up song that I have ever seen. And you know what? I'm not even going to spoil it. I'll just kind of hint at what it is. It's basically like a cut up, Jordan, where it's 2 different songs that I think they just kind of like edited into one. So they have like one set of music as he's running onto the field. And the infielders were all standing together and doing like a choreographed motion as he ran onto the field. And then as soon as he hits the mound and starts throwing, the music completely shifts. And like everybody, both on the field and in the dugout, just went apeshit. And they're just like all fist pumping at the same time as he's like warming up. So we're just all sitting there imagining that they're going to do that like on a Friday night. And it's just going to catch on and the entire stadium is going to be doing it.
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Comes out to pitch this season. So I really hope that wasn't just a one-time thing and that we see it every time he runs on the field.
Wait, y'all talk about that? Okay, this is something I thought when I was driving, and obviously driving, so I couldn't write it down to ask you, but now I'm putting everyone on the spot a little bit. What song would you add to the left field playlist? And I can start because I know exactly, because I got into the whole heated rivalry thing. So all the things she said remix that they put on that show, that is what I would add. I haven't sent it to the group chat yet because I know Brian won't put it on there because he's grumpy, but I will. At some point, I will wear him down and we will have that on the playlist.
I have the Spotify too. I think I have permission to add stuff. So y'all can send me your good stuff, but do not tell Shelly that I have the capability to do that. Do not let her know, please.
So Daddy, we love you, but we're not freaking adding Daddy's hands.
She does listen.
No, we cannot add that, which I did not know about that song for quite a while. I wish I still didn't know about it. But I did also love, Sue, someone said Choosing Texas. Yeah. And Brian was like, no, but Shelly's probably going to make me add it at some point.
Well, I think that one should be. I mean, I
was going to say, I like the Ellen Langley.
Sure should be.
I love that song.
That whole chorus of Choosing Texas, I can tell. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Agreed.
Yeah, that one I will sweet talk Brian. I've been helping him. I helped with like bringing beer, and I've been so nice to him. He needs to let that be on there.
Love it.
Yeah, that's all I got. She's in Texas, is what I was going to say too. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, this was good, babe. You got any other final tips or info to share with us?
Yeah, nothing real notable. Again, just super excited for, the listeners out there. Just want to encourage people to get out to left field and to dish falk, especially this weekend, right? The weather's going to be beautiful. Feeling pretty lucky. Like it's supposed to be in the low 80s on Friday, which is very rare for the start of baseball season. So I think all of the first 3 games should be like 70 degrees or above as we get going. So just want to encourage people out there to come support the team, get fired up, and make a difference there at Dish Falk. We are so ready to go and ready to be back out there with the left field family. So I appreciate y'all having me on, and looking forward to talking more Texas baseball with y'all.
Oh yeah, I did have one more thing. If people come to left field, the scoop is bring your own booze or your own beverages. But also,
same thing.
Are there any families that particularly love hanging out with us that people could expect to see?
That's a weird question, but yeah, there's a lot of families that I'm excited to hang out with. And you already kind of named one. The Borba family is fantastic. They're probably one of the most fun returning families in that group. The Bings are fantastic. Man, Mr. Bing he is a wreck. I love that guy.
Love
He's like
Kevin.
a huge teddy bear that likes to cause a lot of trouble in left field.
And he
So
gives
he's
like
a great
he
one.
picks you up when he hugs you. Like
He
he picks
does.
you up
He
like
picked up
6 inches
Prescott. He
off the
picked
ground.
up everybody. So yeah, he's a strong country boy. So love Bing a lot. Definitely want to shout out Tom De La Garza. Luke's stepdad. He's fantastic. Really great guy that we love being out there with. I would say from a new parent perspective, we've had the opportunity to meet a couple of the new parents, the new dads specifically. Carson Tenney's dad, Keys, is awesome. They are from Colorado. They know how to party. I'll just say this. They're going to fit in just fine in left field, and they may even cause some trouble themselves. So I think those are the notable ones. Do want to shout out some of the great past parents. We're definitely going to miss folks like the Blues and others that aren't going to be around anymore this year. Hoping to still see them a couple times. But yeah, it should be some family fun out there, and looking forward to meeting those new families of the new players.
All right. Well, thanks. You gave everybody a great scoop. I think everybody's ready now. They can go to the ballpark and go to left field and feel like they're fully educated and ready to, or at least pretend like they know what's going on, which we welcome that. Anyways, yeah, good times.
All right. Well, thanks for
babe.
having me on. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for joining. It was so good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you in Houston.
And like we say, babe, we'll see you in left field.
See you in left field, friends.
All right, y'all. Do we want to go around the horns real quick?
So huge thanks to Marc for joining us and giving us, mostly me, a rundown of what to expect this season. But before we let everybody go, just wanted to hit on a few things around the horns, specifically that softball started last week and they went 4-1. They did lose to Nebraska, but whatever, who cares? Reese Atwood, yeah, it's fine. Get it out of the way. As the way I kind of look at it too. I'm like, get the loss out of the way. Now they can just wreck the rest of the time. But Reese Atwood was named D1 Softball's Player of the Week and SEC Player of the Week, which was her first SEC Player of the Week award. And that is shocking to me.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
And with the year she had last year, there's no anyway, that's crazy. But that's my contribution to Around the Horns, because softball's still looking good, even with the loss, whatever. It's a tournament. Again, it's a tournament. They're playing 5 games in a weekend. Like, what do you expect?
Well, and even though you
They beat
said
Nebraska once already, and then they lost to them.
right,
So whatever.
and then even though you said you're having to watch so much basketball, but women's basketball is continuing to do well. They had a little bit of a test last night, but they had a great win against LSU last week when we had talked about that upcoming game before our last episode.
Yep.
That one was great.
We beat up on Kim Mulkey and those LSU Tigers.
Yeah, and it was so funny. So funny to like see her face in the fourth quarter. I mean, she even like rolled her eyes at this point, like, never mind, like I give up kind of thing. And that was pretty cool to
Well, Rory had that's when Rory took the steal leader like of all time, and then she was just stealing the ball constantly in the fourth quarter. She had 5 steals or something crazy, and that's when like Kim, you could see Mulkey just like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know how she's doing this.
yeah. And then last night, gritty win against Kentucky. Had to kind of fight that one out, but it was good to see that when you have like Maddie Booker, she was assisting, but she just didn't have the point, total going last night. But then Justice Carlton and so many others stepped up. And just a little side note for any people that are, I just thought this was a really cool thing that's come out now. Justice Carlton has her own baking entrepreneurial thing she has started. It's called Jay's Rollin' in the Dough, which is super cute. She makes cookies, and apparently Holly Rowe already did a story on her, so she's had an ESPN feature on it or whatever. But it was on local news last night, and they were showing the cookies, and I was like, oh my gosh, she makes like cake balls. And now how she has time for all this?
I'm like, what?
This is supposedly like kind of like her release, like what she can do that just like can take her mind off everything. But she's just seems to be real talented. They show that she makes stuff for like the trainers and coaches, like on their birthdays and stuff. That's like what she brings in stuff. So I was like, that's so cool. So anyway, just another little well-rounded individual there on our basketball team.
Love it.
Love that.
Yeah, and y'all can keep watching men's basketball. They're okay, and they're playing better. I'll tell you that.
We've won 3 SEC games in a row.
We have 3 wins in a row, but it's okay, and they're improving, and we all like Sean Miller. That's what we can say. So, here we go. They play Missouri this weekend, so let's go Horns. Let's keep it going. All right, y'all. I can't wait for baseball. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to see the players play, and hopefully we'll have lots of good things to talk about and lots of rave reviews for next week.
Agree.
Hell yeah.
All right, and Jordan, we're gonna see you in spirit. The rest of y'all,
yes,
we really see y'all in left field.
See you in left field.
See y'all in left field.